What's up guys, it's James from Cop Logic. Welcome back to the channel and we're back. It is another weekend of Premier League action. It is of course time for the match preview of Liverpool versus Aston Villa at Anfield. As always, don't forget to get your score predictions down in the comments and any changes on my team lineup prediction that will be coming later in this video. First of all, let's take a look at the opposition. So Aston Villa's start to their Premier League campaign. They actually got off to a bit of a bad start with a 5-1 loss to Newcastle. Got absolutely battered by Newcastle, but turned things around against Everton. 4-0 win at home against Everton, and then a comfortable win away at Burnley, 3-1 in that game. So not a terrible start to the season for Aston Villa, to be fair. The only loss they've picked up there is against Newcastle on the road, so I expect a few teams will be doing that this season. We almost did, but we'll get onto that in just a second. So that's 8 goals there in their first 3 games in the Premier League campaign. It's safe to say they are a goal threat. Let's just take a look at Liverpool. We already know we had that draw against Chelsea, a rocky win there against Bournemouth with the McAllister red card and all that stuff. And then there's the Newcastle game of last weekend. Amazing game to watch, but not a great performance by Liverpool. Of course, the Virgil van Dijk red card, which is going to feed into today's team selection, and a very late comeback by Darwin Núñez. It's not been the greatest start to the season by Liverpool. Points on the table, to be fair, are great, but performances are a little bit lackluster at the moment. Hopefully we can turn things around this weekend. We are at home at Anfield, so I expect that to help massively. But Aston Villa certainly are no pushovers. As I said, 8 goals in 3 games. Liverpool 6 goals in 3 games. So Aston Villa at the moment a really big goal threat, but I think that could change with the inclusion of a certain someone that we'll get onto in a second. In terms of head-to-heads, this one is heavily weighted in Liverpool's favour, with Villa being winless in their last 5 visits to Anfield. And if we look at the last 5 head-to-head games, Liverpool have won 4 and drew 1. So it's safe to say historically Liverpool do get the better of Aston Villa. There may be some roadblocks there in terms of injuries and suspensions. First of all, I do want to say Villa have a very long list of injuries. They definitely lose in that category, but Liverpool do have their fair share of big setbacks here. So Konate is expected to miss this game. Curtis Jones is back in training, but I doubt we'd see him play. Thiago has suffered a setback, and I don't actually think we're going to see him till after the international break now, which is crazy, by the way, when you consider how long he's actually been out injured. The big worry this weekend is, of course, the red card suspension for Virgil van Dijk. At the moment, it's only the 1-game suspension, but that might be extended with the descent, but we'll wait and see on that one. Right now though, we know Virgil van Dijk will not be playing against Aston Villa, so that brings us on to the big one. It's time for the team selection. As always, between the sticks, it's Alisson Becker. Absolutely stellar performance against Newcastle last weekend, and I expect nothing less in this game. Moving on to the back 4, we'll start with the fullbacks. So it's Robbo in left back and Trent at right back. No reason to make any changes there, especially when we are going to be making wholesale changes in central defence. Wasn't the greatest game for Trent last weekend either, but we are at home. He will have the crowd behind him, and he owes us a little bit of an apology, so hopefully a big game from Trent this weekend. He will, of course, be wearing the captain's armband as well at Anfield, and that is, of course, because Virgil van Dijk will not be eligible to play this game, still serving that suspension. So let's get on to his replacement, and of course Ibrahima Konate's replacement, because neither of our starting centre-backs will be able to start this game, unfortunately. So it is going to have to be Joe Gomez and Joel Matip. Now, I actually thought Joe Gomez had a decent game against Newcastle after he come on. Joel Matip certainly was the worst of the two. I'm not really sure what to make of this defence. It could be classic Liverpool, and the first clean sheet we keep is with this defence, but I don't know how confident I am in saying that. Matip really did not have a good game against Newcastle. This is not an ideal defensive lineup to be going into, especially against Aston Villa, who do seem to be in a decent vein of form if we do take into account their games against Hibernian. A bunch of goals there, and of course they scored the 4 against Everton. You could say that's stat padding, and I wouldn't disagree. It is a little bit of a worry, but we've got Alisson Becker in goal, so hopefully we'll be okay. I'm going to be going with Endo. Of course, Ryan Gravenberch should be in the squad by then, but there's absolutely no way he'd start, especially since he's not even trained with the team. I doubt he even comes off the bench. He might not even be on the bench. I think he'll be at Anfield either way. Whether we see him play, I am very doubtful, having not trained. I know Endo appeared very, very quickly after his signing, but we were in desperate need of a defensive midfielder at the time, so I'm going Endo to start this one, obviously. The 2 central midfielders hopefully become our ever-present central midfielders. We are going, of course, Dominic Szoboszlai and Alexis McAllister. 2 great performances from both of them against Newcastle, and I expect nothing less this weekend. Happy with that, no issues. Let's move on to the forward line, and we'll start with the 2 wingers. Mo Salah, who despite Al Ittihad's best efforts is still at the club and will be in the squad against Aston Villa. So Mo Salah definitely going to start this one on the right wing. And on the left wing, I'm going Luis Diaz, the man in form. Shame he had to come off so early against Newcastle because he was looking like a really big threat. And I think he's had a really good start to the Premier League season this season as well. So definitely Luis Diaz for me. Mo Salah on the right wing. And then it's the big one. It's who's going down the middle. Obviously, last weekend, incredible performance from Darwin Núñez off the bench. Won us the game, and I think that has to be rewarded. So you already know I'm going Darwin Núñez. Let's stick him in there. I've been wanting this guy to start for weeks now, and if he doesn't start this weekend, then I don't know what he's got to do to get a start. After that stellar performance at Newcastle, I just don't know how he cannot start this game. I will caveat that by saying it wouldn't surprise me if Jurgen Klopp didn't start him. I can absolutely see Jurgen Klopp starting Cody Gakpo down the middle in this game, especially because of the defensive frailties at the back there. Potentially, he'd like the fact that Gakpo can get back and play that sort of false nine role, help out with the midfield. Maybe we can get an overload in midfield, and that will take a little bit of pressure off the centre backs. So I can see it being possible that Cody Gakpo starts this game. I wouldn't blame Jurgen Klopp too much if he did that, but I have to say Darwin Núñez deserves a start after his performance against Newcastle. I really feel it has to happen. I'd rather Darwin wasn't punished for the red card that Virgil van Dijk picked up, causing these defensive changes. So I'm going Darwin Núñez. I hope Jurgen Klopp goes Darwin Núñez, but he's the manager. He's more of a tactician, and I could see him going with Cody Gakpo. That said, let's talk about score prediction if that is our team. As I said earlier in the video, 8 goals in 3 games for Aston Villa. They're definitely a goal threat. They actually haven't failed to score a goal in any of their Premier League games this season, and Liverpool have failed to keep a clean sheet in all of their games this season. So I don't know that I can predict a clean sheet here when you consider the defensive changes and Liverpool's current run of form defensively. But I'm definitely not predicting a loss, because let's look at the win percentages here. Of course, Liverpool on 58%, Aston Villa only on 21%, and a draw at 21% as well. So Villa as likely to lose it as draw it. Liverpool there, heavy favourites with the 58%. I'm going for a Liverpool win, but not a clean sheet, unfortunately. I'm going to go 3-1. I think there's goals in this game. I back Darwin Núñez to get a couple, to be honest with you. Mo Salah needs a goal, man. Mo Salah, with everything going on and all this noise, I'd love Mo Salah to get a game. So again, I don't normally pick goal scorers, but I'm going 3-1 Liverpool. Darwin Núñez to get a brace again, and Mo Salah as well. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you got any changes to that team selection, who would you play up front? And of course, get your score predictions in down below as well. 2 p.m. kickoff, and I believe this one once again is not on TV, which is really annoying, but it is what it is. If you are at Anfield, make sure you enjoy yourselves. Fingers crossed we come back with all 3 points. To make sure we do that, make sure you give this video a like, and if you do enjoy the content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And as always, we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.